It's Vidhi Chug. Vidhi is a data transformist and an AI strategist with a vision to build trustworthy AI solutions. She has over a decade of experience enabling data driven solutions across multiple domains, including digital advertising, risk analytics, e commerce, and supply chain. Vidhi will be talking about the key elements of a winning AI strategy. I'm sure out there a mic is was waiting for this where there's a topic about AI. But everyone out there, feel free to ask questions to Vidhi. We'll be taking it towards the end. Without any further ado, let's have Vidhi on stage here.
Hey,
Hey, Vidhi.
Vinny! I saw you backstage there. I hope you're ready for this. We're very excited to host you on the Modern Data Fest. Thank you so much for making time for this.
Hi, yeah, hi. Thanks, Ravid and Kate, for the introduction. I hope my voice is audible and the screen is on share.
Absolutely. We're going to share your screen as soon as Ravit and I get off the stage, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes for some Q&A.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I hope you are all having a great time listening to the insights from the industry experts. The topic I have to discuss today is on sharing the factors and the considerations for building a winning AI strategy. As the topic itself focuses on two key components, one is AI and another is strategy. So let me talk first about AI. AI has a table stake discussion in almost every business strategy. And for all the strategy, and for the strategy part, when we talk, let's first discuss why do we need a strategy in the first place. There are multiple projects that you can pick for a particular business vision. For example, it could be related to cost savings, or it could be about enhancing the customer experience. In order to achieve those business goals, which should be the right project that you need to pick, which that acts as an ROI of your time and the effort that you spend on it. Setting up the project and not picking the right project can act as a disappointing step to the strategy. Um, the wrong project in terms of not knowing the challenges and not able to foresee the risk for those particular projects is going to impede the success for the AI strategy that you've built upon. So a strategy is basically a roadmap which takes a high level goal and then takes us down to a very well laid out and it's more about the implementation rather than the design, which is what typically everyone thinks about as a strategy. So now that we know the strategy and how it helps us identify which particular project should be picked first in terms of getting the business ROI, let's see what exactly changes when AI component comes into the picture. While designing AI strategy, you need to understand that AI is focused on data. It's all about data. So, do you have the data being made available in the first place? And data availability is not the only concern. Having the right data in terms of data quality, and does the data has a pattern in it that decides the success of your AI project. The next one is that the business also needs to understand the probabilistic side of an ML solution. So what I mean by that is that are you aware of what kind of impact every incorrect ML prediction can make? Because ML is a probabilistic solution, there are possible errors and the accuracy terms that are associated with it. So understanding the difference between deterministic output and the probabilistic solution that comes with ML is key to picking the right project for setting the AI vision for your company. The third and the most important is to understand the end user and the impact that particular AI project can have on it, which constitutes the responsible and trustworthy part of it, where who is going to be impacted, who is going to be the end consumer of this solution. That is very pivotal in deciding it as one of the important metric in building an AI strategy. So what I've discussed about strategy so far, these are some of the factors that I've listed in terms of summarizing. The very first is to see what is the cost of carrying out this particular AI initiative in terms of infrastructure. It could be in terms of the team that you need to execute that particular project. Is it really scalable? The very I would give an example for your particular solution or the particular AI project. Does it cut across various verticals, and is it specifically catering to the needs of a particular project or a team? So that's also one of the way to measure whether which particular project do you want to prioritize. The third one is build or buy decision. What part of an AI project that you are undertaking, what particular part of that project is something that you can afford to build in house, or is it better if you take outsource it to vendors? The third one is the value proposition. Sorry, the fourth one is a value proposition, which could be improving the customer engagement or experience, or is it focusing on improving the operational efficiencies? The other one is on success metric, which in my eyes is very crucial because that talks about the business vision, the way you understand the impact of a particular project on the business is different from the scientific measures that we generally talk about as a success. So the success criteria for a particular AI project, which could be in terms of accuracy of the model, is carefully need to be calibrated in terms of the impact it's going to have on business. For example, if you're having an AI project or a model which is 80% accurate, do I understand the accuracy or the precision or whichever metric I choose for that project, the kind of impact it's going to have on the business outcome? If I'm talking about the increase in number of conversions, what percentage increase do I see with the model of that accuracy? The other one is on data having a pattern, which I've discussed on AI specific component before. The data needs to have a good signal for a model to get trained on and give a reasonable predictions on when it is put into production. The ethics and the trustworthy component is something which has taken the has become at the forefront of deciding which particular AI project should be taken as priority. And all the questions that go into deciding whether this project is going to have an is going to be ethically correct or it's complying to the regulatory frameworks is important to be asked right in the beginning before you go neck deep into the project. It's difficult to gauge and it's really an abstract concept, so to say, but asking and taking help of different teams, it's a cross collaboration. It helps you speed up the success of the project. The last one that I want to emphasize is evangelize. The more you see the adopters of your AI solution in the organization, it it deeply increases the confidence of the team who is working on those initiatives. So these are, considering the time brevity, these are some of the factors that I've listed. There are more to it, but I'll take a pause here and see if there are any questions, and then we can see what others might think are the components that constitute a winning AI strategy.
Very interesting session, Vidhi. Thanks a lot for this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely learned a lot in around the AI strategy, and would love to obviously ask some questions. I know Mike Nash out there was talking about the ROI and end user driven, which is fantastic point. But to start with, obviously, I had one question which was around why is it important to have an AI strategy in the organization? Like, what about the companies who don't have AI strategy? How do they kind of, go through? So just wanted to learn a little about that.
Yes, definitely, Ravid. So I think most of the times what we understand is that business strategy is definitely something that every organization has. And a
Right.
large part of when we design an AI strategy has a higher degree of overlap with what business strategy is already in place. And a strategy is something that you envision yourself for next 3 to 5 years. So if there is a goal or an objective that you want to
Mm-hmm.
achieve, you have it in your plate for next 3 to 5 years that these are the set of actions that I can take to achieve that particular vision. Now, for you to have a successful AI strategy, it's important to think of those goals and then take it back to what you need to exactly pick today to be able to achieve that for next maybe in the next 3 to 5 years. So I won't say that it's starkly different from a business strategy, but those are the additional concerns. If you don't really know, we see that a lot of projects, they don't really go to production. You don't see all the models that, or the proof of concepts that the team build on, they don't really get deployed. Maybe it's because what I believe largely is that not all the challenges or the risk that we foresee were kind of taken care of. And uh, it requires the leaders, it's a cross collaboration, it requires leaders from different verticals to come together and challenge those assumptions and see
Right.
which one should be prioritized. So if you have an AI strategy, the time to ship a solution increases.
Yeah, I love
Okay.
that. And great presentation, Vidi. Thank you so much. I had a question. You mentioned regulatory aspects and making sure we take that into consideration when designing our AI strategy. Do you have any case studies, examples, or maybe even steps that you can share that need to be taken when you're designing an AI strategy, and how does this regulatory aspect play into this?
Yes, Kate. So it's little bit specific to the industry and the domain in which we are building the solution.
Mm-hmm.
The one example that I generally think is very important for all of us to understand is coming from the healthcare perspective. And these are the high stake. These are the fields which are involving high stake critical decisions that impacts the end user. So considering healthcare, it could be talking about judiciary or maybe the insurance, for example, like assessing the credit worthiness of an applicant. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the cases where the impact of every wrong decision or the prediction made by the model is going to create a significant impact on the applicant or the user, right? So from these perspective, ensuring that what kind of impact it's going to create, the one very fundamental factor is to understand the explainable part of it. So am I able to explain the outcome coming from the model every time? And with that, I
Mm-hmm.
need to understand, can I trace it back if I know that it's making wrong predictions or the model performance is degraded? Do I have the capability enough to roll it back and kind of debug it? So this is one of the fundamental pillar of having an ethical AI solution.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think those are pretty cool, interesting insights. Thanks for that. One question that I had with you is, when we talk about AI strategy, obviously, there are a lot of hurdles that come your way, and obviously the teams kind of face that issue. So, what are the basic challenges to, setting the right AI strategy according to you?
Yeah, Ravit. So I think setting the right AI strategy is a work in progress. That's the best answer I can give. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
for this is all the AI projects themselves are very experimentative and iterative by nature. So as you evolve, once you start with the proof of concept and start building an
Yeah.
MVP, there are a lot of bottlenecks and issues that you face along the way, based on which you keep calibrating it. So it requires, I would say, more fluidity and agility as compared to a typical business strategy where the chances of unforeseen events happening are relatively low. So I think that's the fundamental, I would say, overarching view of developing the right and successful AI strategy.
Okay, that's pretty cool. One more question that I had was around, when we talk about AI strategy and also data-driven culture, and in a company where obviously both of them kind of align together, how do you how do you say that, okay, how do you align both of them in a way where the business kind of runs very smoothly?
Yeah, an excellent question, Ravit. So I think data-driven culture, data is the underlying theme of all that you do in the business. In fact, which project to be picked first is also data-driven. You need to develop, like the
Mm,
ROI, what I mentioned, is also a deciding factor that what are the returns that I expect from this particular
yeah.
initiative. So you need to have a certain way or a certain numbers or the data to stack order your priority or expectation from each of the project. And so I think data is a fundamental theme. Based on that, you decide so based on which you decide the success of your AI projects.
Okay, pretty cool. I'll now take a few questions here from the audience. One very interesting question. Obviously, Mike has two questions. I'll definitely be taking both of them. With an AI strategy, should there be an evolving or static approach during the AI project lifecycle? Interesting.
Yes. This resonates well with what I mentioned before. So yes,
Yeah.
specifically with respect to AI strategy, the need to have more agility towards the end. So I think one thing should remain static, which would be the end or the overall business objective that we were trying to solve. It could vary in terms of how much percentage of it do you think is really achievable. But once you have a clarity of what business goal are we after, then other factors in terms of what kind of skills do we require, what kind of infrastructure does it demand, and what kind of cross team collaboration it demands for example, right? It's not just done with the data analytics team within the organization in silos. So other variables definitely needs more of the agility, and you need to keep improving on it as you go along. But there has to be one anchor point based on which you decide, okay, this is the vision that I had set for. How much of it is
Okay.
actually possible as I go along the project? So that kind of flexibility really helps in taking the
Okay.
project. Yeah.
Okay. Those are pretty cool insights. And this second question here from Mike as well. There has been recent stats on a high proportion of AI ML models don't get to live state. Are there any solutions for this?
Absolutely. And the answer to all those solutions lie in decide. I think it's all about taking an inventory stock of seeing what are the possible challenges in terms of, have I thought through about the business objective very clearly in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I also mentioned that not all the proof of concepts that we build or all the projects that we start go to production. So it also goes back to that, have we thought about data in the first place, which is what you also
Yep.
mentioned, Ramya, being data driven. So I think data is not a differentiator that a lot of organization has these days. Almost every organization has a lot of data. What is
Yeah.
different is that, do they have quality data? So I think quality is not really a factor when people look for. So they say that, okay, there are a lot of data, pipelines that are flowing through, and it must be something
Mm-hmm.
that we make use of. So quality of data and understanding whether the data has reasonable signal on which AI machine learning algorithms can learn the pattern from. Having data itself is not solving the problem for us. So when we come from that perspective, that the fundamental success of a project, specifically an AI project, lies on the data itself, and then ensuring that all the integration, I think, is one of the biggest challenge, that you have a particular proof of concept, you want to not scale it up, but
Right.
the tech stack itself can become a challenge, and not having the right skill in the team, where the technology adoption is a bigger barrier in implementing an AI solution. So these are some of the factors that you need to foresee and kind of prepare beforehand, before even starting a particular initiative or before even starting a particular project.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think these are typically seen as challenges across many organizations.
Very true, and I agree. Great insights, Vidhi. Thanks for sharing all the insights. Thanks for such an amazing session today. It was really good to have you up here, and thanks for the amazing questions by our audience. I will see you around, Vidhi. We'll keep the ball rolling. We'll keep the party moving.
Yes, Vidhi, thank you so much for your presentation. Sorry, I was in and out handling Modern Data Fest business. We're all good. So thank you so much for your time. We will definitely see you online. Guys, make sure you're following Vidhi on LinkedIn and follow her insights there as well.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Bye-bye.
Thank you.